Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today, we are really getting into something specific, something intense. We're not looking at a whole album or, a sprawling genre. We are surgically dissecting a single, really potent piece of Gothic art. The song Corruption's Embrace.
That's right. And what makes this deep dive so fascinating is just the quality of the material we have.
Right.
We have the complete lyrics, sure, but what's crucial is we also have the artist's full production notes and their conceptual mind map.
So this isn't just interpretation.
No, not at all. It's more like reverse engineering, this feeling of just inescapable dread.
And our mission here is to uncover those core themes and the really intricate technical choices that were made to get those themes directly into the listener's nervous system. And that mind map gives us a perfect roadmap.
It really does. It breaks the whole thing down into four really clear categories. First, you've got this visceral, physical, and internal transformation.
Oh.
Then there's the philosophical nature of corruption itself. After that, the specific vocal and ethereal effects from the production notes.
That's technical side.
Exactly. And it's all wrapped up in these overriding themes of despair and fate. So we're going to move through these pillars to really get the artist's total vision.
Okay, let's unpack this. Let's jump right into the meat of it. We're starting with the most visceral aspect, the transformation. The lyrics. They immediately set up this invasion that's both destructive and just profoundly intimate. The horror isn't some monster outside. It's personal.
And it begins in the most unsettling way possible. It's a complete subversion of the self from the inside out. Verse 1 doesn't just, hint at the change. It names the process. Something slithers through my veins, whispering in tongues unknown.
Ugh, that word slithers.
Right. It immediately makes the corruption feel sentient, almost like serpentine.
And the lines that define the internal destruction, I found those particularly potent. It's not just standard decay. It moves into this literal psychological petrification.
You mean the shadow creeping through my bones, turning marrow into stone?
Yes, exactly. Marrow it's the life source. It's the soft core of you. Turning it to stone is the ultimate symbol of life, just giving way to this cold, rigid finality.
It's the psychological equivalent of a total system shutdown. And like we see in so many classic Gothic narratives, the internal trauma doesn't stay hidden for long. It has to come out.
It externalizes into this visible, terrifying body horror.
Yeah.
And that's where you get that devastating image of self-recognition just failing. The mirror cracks with what I see, a wretched form, no longer me.
The character is literally watching their own humanity fracture in real time.
And the specific details are what stick with you. It's not just a general feeling of being unwell.
No, it's focused. The decay is focused on the hands, right? The very instrument of human agency and creation.
Fingers blackened, tripping sin.
Right. And the shift is total. Hands that once wore mine, now blackened, clawed, and stained with time. That tells you the subject is losing not just their body, but their entire connection to their past actions, their own agency.
That realization that this visible corruption means you're losing your identity, your history.
Yeah.
That shifts the horror. It goes from a physical problem to a kind of universal doom. And the context in verse 2, it really reinforces that fatalism, doesn't it?
It absolutely does. It grounds the personal horror in this broader environment of total collapse. The speaker sees themselves as a rotting rose, a poisoned bloom.
Still alive, still blooming, but it's all wrong.
It's entirely corrupted, and they're existing beneath a dying sky, so their tragedy isn't unique. It's a manifestation of the world's own poisoned fate. It's unavoidable because nature itself is dying too.
Which brings us perfectly to our second category.
Yeah.
The actual nature of corruption. Because this material, it makes it really clear that this corruption isn't just a monster kicking down the door. It's portrayed as seductive, alluring even.
It offers this twisted kind of comfort while it destroys you. The chorus is the thematic epicenter of that idea.
Absolutely. The chorus captures that contradiction perfectly.
You have the line, corruption's embrace. A velvet chain.
A velvet chain.
A chain is constraint, it's slavery, total control, but it's velvet. And this is where, a bit of analysis comes in. The artist is suggesting that the most effective forms of destruction, they aren't painful or obvious.
Right.
They're soft, luxurious, easy to accept.
It implies a willingness, doesn't it? Or maybe just an inability to choose against the comfort of that final surrender.
A beautiful trap.
Yeah. Where the corrupted state might paradoxically feel easier than the exhausting struggle to stay. Well, stay human.
And that luxurious imprisonment, it's definitive. The chain isn't just binding the flesh, it's defining the very essence of the speaker.
Tearing through flesh, rewriting my name.
That line. It suggests the previous identity, the name, the history is being violently overwritten by the corruption. There's no going back because the very ledger of their existence has been edited.
I see the fatalism, I do, but doesn't the description of the initial change, the cracking mirror, the wretched form, doesn't that suggest the character is an unwilling victim at first?
That's the core subtlety the source material is playing with.
Okay.
The resistance phase is agonizingly short. It's just a prelude to the seduction. The character openly admits it, I can't escape, I can't defy.
Right.
And the reason for that helplessness isn't just about power, it's about this perverse attraction. A monster's touch with a lover's sigh.
The corruption is literally irresistible.
And that raises a really important question for you, the listener. If the thing destroying you is also the only thing giving you comfort, can you truly call yourself a victim?
That's a heavy question.
Yeah.
And the atmosphere of psychological pressure is just relentless, too. It's not just the physical change.
No.
It's the soundscape described in verse 2. The whispers twist, they hum, they pray, weaving nightmares into day.
It's a constant, relentless mental assault. It's designed to break any will that's left.
The character basically admits they're at the end. Every breath's a final plea, but darkness sings its lullaby.
They're being gently, softly sung to sleep by their own demise. There's no big dramatic fight left, just acceptance of this inevitable song of despair.
But just before that final descent, the bridge offers this amazing short moment of confrontation.
Yeah, that's a crucial turn.
The subject directly addresses an external you. It feels like a flash of self-awareness before the collapse. A desperate plea, but also a final accusation. Do you see me? Do you fear me? Do you wish to set me free?
It turns the gaze outward. It forces the listener, you, to take responsibility, even just for a moment. It breaks that fourth wall of the internal suffering.
But the conclusion is so swift and so crushing.
The very next line just slams the door shut. Or is it you who bound my fate? Come closer, love. It's far too late.
And that's the definitive answer right there. Fate was bound, resistance was useless, and now the external world is implicated in their doom.
The die has been cast. It's time for the final act.
And this brings us to where it gets really interesting. We need to pivot now.
Okay.
From the poetic imagery to the technical blueprint, because the production notes are so specific, so detailed, they actually become part of the narrative themselves. This is the alchemy. This is where the lyrics become the sonic embodiment of corruption.
The technical outline shows the sound engineers were treating the effects not as like decoration, but as actual characters in the story.
Right.
So in verse 1, the atmosphere is crucial. The notes say, eerie, hollow reverb paired with whispered, distorted echoes of key words.
That just makes the space around the speakers sound vast and empty, like they're completely alone but also being watched.
Exactly. And the specific detail for the vocal doubling is a masterstroke in creating that early internal conflict.
You're talking about the pitch shifting.
I am. The notes call for slight vocal doubling, one pitch down megaphone semitones for a cursed effect.
Let's pause on that megaphone semitone shift because that is critical.
It is. It's not the full monster voice yet. A drop of 4 semitones is just subtle enough to make the voice sound fundamentally wrong.
Like an infection.
Or a parasitic second consciousness that hasn't fully taken over yet. It keeps the voice recognizably human, but unsettlingly flawed. It's the sound of the fight, the sound of that systemic failure we talked about earlier.
And then the tone shifts so dramatically when we hit the chorus. It goes from that intimate haunting to this enormous, terrifying judgment.
And the blueprint demands massive cathedral-style reverb for a haunting, ethereal sound.
The choice of cathedral reverb is so fascinating.
It's not just a big space, it's a sacred space, right? One you associate with ritual and consequence.
So to hear those lines about the velvet chain echoing in that huge empty sanctuary, it transforms the personal tragedy.
It turns it into a cosmic sentence. It sounds like judgment being delivered, but by some kind of, I don't know, malevolent, empty force.
And underneath that immense reverb, they layer in the sound engineer's specific take on the whispers from the lyrics.
Right. The notes direct them to layered, deep whispers underneath, pitched Nena 6 to Nena 8 semitones.
So that's much deeper than before.
That lower pitching is where the true darkness lives. If the nested 4 shift was the human struggling with the infection,
then the Nena 6 to Nena 8 layer is the sound of the corruption's army.
Humming its relentless lullaby. They are always there, always present, creating this inescapable auditory prism.
And they use a classic production trick to heighten the anticipation for the chorus, that slow reverse reverb swell.
That is pure disorientation. When you reverse reverb, you're hearing the sound's decay before the sound itself actually hits.
It's designed to make you feel like the air is being violently sucked out of the room.
Or like time is running backward just for a second, right before the full heavy weight of the chorus drops on you. It's a perfect sonic translation of that growing dread.
The progression in the vocal delivery across the song it's a full narrative arc.
Yeah.
And it reaches its climax in the bridge.
It does.
The vocal starts whispered, which reflects that desperate plea, "Do you see me?" But then the distortion kicks in with the reverb and delay.
And this is the moment of final collapse. The notes specifically call for the voice to culminate in a rising demonic growl. It's 8 semitones.
There's that number again. Maneth and 8.
That jump from the initial subtle Nanish 4 contamination to the full aggressive Manus 8 manifestation is the sound of total takeover. The humanity is finally explicitly gone.
And the monster speaks its triumphant conclusion.
It's just incredible that a single technical detail, a drop of 4 semitones, can define the character's final fate so clearly. The progression just reinforces that theme of fatalism. The subject never stood a chance because the infection was designed to win.
And the final payoff for the listener is in that final chorus. It's explicitly stated in the brief that it should feel like a crescendo of darkness.
So we get the return of the massive choirs drenched in reverb, the layered whispers, and then that crucial final word.
The ultimate descent is captured in the last lyrical line. The light is gone, the dawn won't rise, all that remains are hollow eyes.
And the production notes give that final phrase a stretched, ghostly tail.
That ghostly tail. It ensures that even after the music fades, that feeling of emptiness, of finality, it just lingers in the air.
The final moment of the song isn't loud. It's vast and hollow. It solidifies the outcome. The fight is over. The corruption has won, leaving only the sound of an echoing void behind.
This deep dive really just showcases the intentionality behind great Gothic art. We've moved seamlessly between the physical imagery, the marrow to stone, the dripping sin, the philosophical fatalism of the velvet chain, and the incredibly detailed sonic architecture. The production notes, the specific semitone shifts, the reverse reverb, the cathedral echo, they aren't just effects.
No, they're the character arc, realized in sound. It's a complete, focused narrative of descent where every technical choice reinforces the lyrical truth. The horror is complete because the voice itself, the very instrument of consciousness, has been stolen and weaponized against the speaker.
And that leaves us with one final provocative thought for you to consider as you process this deep dive. Given the detailed documentation of the vocal manipulation, the strategic use of those pitched-down whispers, and that final, aggressive, demonic growl, what does this sophisticated sound design really suggest about the relationship between the singer and the corruption? Is the singer's voice, at any point, the last remnant of humanity fighting back against the effects? Or, by the time the microphone actually captures the sound, is the voice merely the corruption singing its own victorious lullaby through a former host?
It makes you wonder if the voice we hear is just the final mask of the monster.
Indeed. Something to dwell on until the next dive. Thank you for joining us for this analysis of corruption's embrace. We'll get you next time.